Welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be focusing on just one source. It's an excerpt from Sharon Eubank's 2017 talk, Turn on Your Light.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Eubank, for those who might not know, is the first counselor in the Relief Society General Presidency.
Right.
And in this talk, she's specifically addressing women of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Uh-huh.
But, I really think there are a lot of great points in here for everyone, like regardless of your background.
I think so, too.
Her main question is how women of faith can contribute to the growth of, well, their faith.
And she doesn't just keep it theoretical. She really gets into the practical side of it.
Exactly. She's got some really fascinating stories, even a prophecy and some actionable advice. I mean, how can we not dive deep into that?
Sounds good. I'm ready.
Okay, so right off the bat, Eubank references a prophecy by President Spencer W. Kimball.
Ah, yes, from 1979.
Yeah, and it's about the role of women in the future of the church. And it's not just a small passing comment either.
No, it was a big deal. He actually made this declaration at like a global women's conference for the church.
Wow, okay, so this was a significant statement.
Very much so.
What did he say?
Well, he basically said that women would be crucial in bringing others to the faith. And it wasn't just about, preaching or anything like that. It was all about building relationships.
Oh, interesting. Relationships with members of other faiths.
Yeah, exactly. He really emphasized that the quality of these relationships, the ones that women foster, would be a driving force, like a major force in attracting others to the church.
Okay, so it's more about like genuine connection, not just, being friendly.
Yeah, like really authentically connecting. Kimball had this belief that women had something special, this way of building bridges, this way of creating this feeling of belonging.
I wonder how that resonated with women back then, especially in a time when religious boundaries were maybe even stronger than they are now.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I mean, even today, in a world that can feel so polarized, the idea of connecting with people from different backgrounds, it's incredibly relevant.
Right, right. So how does Eubank take this prophecy and make it actionable?
Well, she breaks it down into 5 key points, like a roadmap.
Ooh, a roadmap. I like that. Okay, so what's the first point on this roadmap?
The first one is about righteousness.
Righteousness, okay.
But, and this is important, she's not talking about being perfect. It's more about this interconnection with God, a willingness to repent, a desire to really help others.
Okay, so like striving to be better.
Yeah, and she even shares this story about a friend of hers, this woman who went through some really rough stuff, addiction, divorce, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, wow. Like a real redemption arc?
Yeah, pretty much. She hit rock bottom and then turned to her faith. And that's where she found the strength to change her life.
That's amazing. But how does personal change like that inspire others? I mean, it's one thing to change your own life, but how does that ripple outwards, How does it become a force for good in the world?
That's a great question. I think it's about how change can be contagious. Like when we see someone overcome challenges and find peace and purpose, it gives us hope. And it might even inspire us to look at our own lives and make changes.
Okay, so it's like their transformation becomes a beacon for others.
Exactly.
I like that. So what's the second point on Eubank's list?
This one's all about being articulate.
Articulate.
Yeah, and to illustrate this, she talks about this Facebook post she saw once. It was criticizing Christianity.
Oh, okay.
And Eubank admits that at first she just scrolled past it. But then she saw that someone she knew, not even a member of the church, had responded. And this person wrote this incredibly thoughtful, eloquent defense of Christian values.
So it's not just about having beliefs, it's about expressing them.
Exactly. Being able to explain what you believe and why. In a world where there's so much noise, if you can't articulate your values, they can just get lost.
That's a good point. But isn't there a risk of being too focused on being persuasive? Like, could it come across as preachy?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's about finding that balance between being articulate and respectful. It's more about sharing your experiences and inviting dialogue.
Yeah.
Not forcing your beliefs on others.
Yeah, more about understanding than winning an argument.
Exactly. And I think that leads us right into the third point, being different.
Being different. Okay. How does she explain that one?
Well, she tells this amazing story about a human chain rescue on Panama City Beach.
Wait, is this the one where those 2 young boys get caught in a rip current?
Yes. And then their whole family rushes in to save them. And it turns into this massive crisis, 9 people struggling to stay afloat.
Oh, wow. That's scary.
It is. And what's crazy is that most people are just frozen. They're trying to think of solutions. But then this one couple, they have this completely out-of-the-box idea.
What did they do?
They decided to form a human chain.
A human chain?
Yeah. Dozens of people, linking arms, marching into the ocean. They created this 80-person chain that stretched out to the swimmers.
Wow. That's an incredible image. So how does this connect to being different? Was it just about being brave?
It's more than that. Eubank talks about how this couple used their spiritual gifts of innovation and creation. Like they tapped into this inner resourcefulness. They trusted their instincts, even though it was unconventional.
So it's not just about being different for the sake of it. It's about trusting your gut and maybe finding those solutions that other people wouldn't even consider.
Exactly. Sometimes the best answers are the ones that are outside the box.
Okay, so that's being different. What's the next point?
The fourth one is about being distinct.
Being distinct. Isn't that similar to being different?
Well, being different is about being willing to stand out. But being distinct is about honing your specific skills and talents so that when the opportunity arises, you can make a real impact.
So it's about cultivating those unique abilities.
Yes. And she brings back the Panama City Beach story to make her point.
Okay.
Remember Jessica Mae Simmons?
The woman who was on the beach?
Yeah, her. She was an incredible swimmer.
Right.
She was actually training to be a lifeguard, and she'd specifically practiced swimming in rip currents and holding her breath for a long time.
Wow.
And because of that, she was able to grab a boogie board, swim down the chain, and be a key player in the rescue.
So it was her specific skill set that allowed her to help.
Exactly. She had the right skills at the right time.
That's incredible. So it's like we all have these unique talents, and it's up to us to develop them so we can use them to make a difference.
That's a great way to put it. You know, it's not enough to just be passively different. We need to be actively honing our strengths so that we're ready to serve.
Okay, I'm really starting to see the depth of these points. Each one builds on the last. Okay, so what's the final point on Eubank's list? What's the last piece of the roadmap?
This one's, well, it's simple, but it's equally important. She says we need to do all of this, be righteous, articulate, different, distinct, in happy ways.
In happy ways. I love that. So it's not just about doing the right things, it's about doing them with the right attitude.
Yes. She emphasizes that real happiness comes from living your values, uplifting others, and finding joy even when things are tough.
Do you think that's what she meant by turning on your light?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it might be part of it. It's about recognizing that inner light. You know, that combination of our talents, our values, our experience.
Well, that's what makes us, us.
Right. It's not about becoming someone else.
Yeah.
It's about letting that real, authentic you shine through.
And using that to make a positive impact on the world.
Exactly.
This is really interesting. I can't wait to see what else she has to say.
Me too. There's so much more to unpack here.
We've been talking about these 5 points, you know, Eubank's roadmap to turning on your light.
Right.
But what does that even mean? Like, turning on your light, it's a pretty image, but what's she really getting at?
Yeah, it's poetic. I don't think it's about, you know, being the loudest or flashiest. It's more about this warmth, this genuineness that draws people in.
It makes me think of that scripture, let your light so shine before men. You know, it's about inspiring others by how you live.
Oh, totally. And what's cool is Eubank says this is for everyone, not just certain people.
Right. No matter your age, background, even if someone doesn't share our faith, everyone has something to offer. It's like what she says about passing the torch, right?
Yeah, she talks about how this message has been around, especially for women in the church, but now it's a new generation's turn to take it and run with it.
But it goes beyond just, you know, church stuff, doesn't it? It's about women as a force for good, period.
Absolutely. Knowing your worth, building your strengths, then using those to make things better.
And Eubank doesn't just talk about it. She gives real examples.
So many good ones. It's not just be righteous. It's the story about her friend, the one who overcame addiction.
Right. And not just be articulate, but she shares that Facebook post where someone else totally nailed it, even better than she could.
Yeah. Or the human chain. It's not just a cool story. It shows how specific skills can really help.
She makes it so relatable. It's not just motivational stuff. It's like, here's how to do this.
Yeah.
Which I think we need, especially these days.
Oh, for sure. With all the bad news, social media.
Yeah.
You feel like, what can I even do?
But she's saying even little things matter. Kindness, compassion, that stuff spreads.
It's recognizing that light inside each of us. Sharing it makes the world, well, a little less dark.
It's a good message for anyone. So if someone's listening thinking, okay, how do I start? What do they do?
Well, she lays it out pretty clearly, right? The 5 points: righteousness, articulateness, being different, distinct, and doing it all with joy.
Yeah, but it's not just memorizing them.
No, it's got to be personal. Like, what does each one mean for you? Where are your chances to turn on your light?
What makes you unique? And how can you share that?
Exactly. Work, hobbies, relationships, even just being nice to someone you don't know. It's that inner commitment to being good, however that looks for you.
I like how she brings it back to President Kimball's prophecy. It's not just theory, it's playing out in people's lives.
It's happening.
Yeah.
And we could be part of it. Be those who turn on our lights and let other people experience that joy, that hope that comes with it.
And the thing is, when we do that, we're not just helping others, we're helping ourselves too.
Totally a win-win. You get that good feeling of making a difference, and it brings you closer to God. Everyone should be in on this.
So big takeaway so far, everyone's got that light within them.
And it's on us to let it shine, using whatever gifts we've got to make things brighter.
It's fulfilling our potential, but also like contributing to something bigger.
Yeah.
But Eubank doesn't stop there, does she? She goes on to give this powerful call to action.
Oh, yeah. It's more than a suggestion. It's like she's challenging her listeners, saying, will you be righteous? Will you articulate your faith? Can you handle being different, distinct? Will your happiness, even when things are hard, will it draw others to you? Those who need your friendship, will you turn on your light?
Those are some heavy questions.
Yeah, she's not messing around. But then she gives this amazing promise that Jesus Christ will go before us, be with us.
We're not in this alone. We've got help. And she even quotes President Monson, remember, my dear sisters, this is your day, this is your time.
It's like now is the time. Don't wait for someone else. You can make a difference right now.
And that's for everyone, right? No matter who you are, what you do, we all have a part to play. We can't just sit back and watch.
Time to step up, lights on, share what you've got. And I think this deep dive is giving us the tools to do that.
I think so too. It's reminding us that even little acts matter, and that growing ourselves helps us be better at helping others.
So wrapping up this part, I want to leave folks with a question. Eubank mentions innovation and creation as spiritual gifts. What do you have, talents, abilities, that could help others, maybe even in surprising ways?
Ooh, good one. Makes you really think, what are my strengths?
Maybe you're a great listener, an artist, good at organizing. Whatever it is, there's a way to use it to lift people up, make things better.
And maybe, just maybe, be part of fulfilling that prophecy from President Kimball.
Love that thought. We've covered a lot today. Eubank's message is really something.
It is. Fascinating deep dive into turning on your light. You know, even after all this discussion, I keep thinking about that point Eubank makes about innovation and creation. Those spiritual gifts.
Yeah, me too. It really sticks with you.
Especially when she ties it to being distinct. Like using our unique skills, but maybe in ways we haven't thought of before.
It's like she's saying, don't limit yourself. What do you have that you can bring to the table?
Right. It might not be what you traditionally think of as like a spiritual gift. Maybe you're amazing at coding or you love to garden.
Exactly. Or maybe you bake the best bread ever.
But all those things, those are talents too, and they can be used to help others.
Oh, totally. Imagine someone's great at coding. They could build a website for a charity or a community garden. Someone with a green thumb could make that amazing.
And that bread. Maybe it just brightens someone's day, makes them feel connected.
It's seeing the potential in everything we do, even the small stuff.
And this is what gets me. Eubank also talks about how our happiness draws people in.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Not like being fake happy, but that genuine joy that comes from really living your values.
It's contagious, isn't it? When you see someone truly happy, it makes you feel good too.
And I think that's so important right now. There's so much negativity out there. It's easy to get pulled down.
But we can choose to be different. Choose joy. Choose to be that light, even when things are hard.
It's like that saying, lighting another candle doesn't dim your own flame. Spreading happiness doesn't take away from ours. It just makes more of it.
I love that. And it's a gift, not just for us, but for the whole world.
Yeah, maybe by sharing our joy, it helps someone else find theirs. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm feeling hopeful, like there's so much possibility.
Me too. This talk was a call to action, but also like a reminder, we're not alone in this. We've got each other, our gifts, and, well, faith to guide us.
And if we can just take one step, turn on our light in some small way.
Use what we've got to make things a little better.
That's how we make the world brighter. For ourselves and everyone else.
Beautifully said. So thanks for joining us for this deep dive into turning on your light. Hopefully it's got you thinking about your own gifts and what you can do with them.
Until next time, keep shining.